All right, so I just want to say good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining us for the February Arizona Indian Education Association's general meeting. We do meet every third Friday of every month unless otherwise posted. I do want to make note that we will not have a March meeting, and that is mainly due to the different spring breaks that all of our school districts experience. We do want to allow that time to for our attendees and participants and membership to be able to spend time with families and enjoy their spring break rather than coming back for a meeting in the middle of the month. So we will not be meeting, but we do have some exciting collaborations that we're going to be doing in the month of March. We're going to designate that as our professional development training month. So there's going to be a couple of PD opportunities that will be available, and we'll get to those later on in the agenda. And so, again, I just want to say welcome. Thank you for joining us for this month's meeting. And so, if you'll just bear with me just a few moments, I do want to provide a space for the land acknowledgement. This is something that we always do at the beginning of every public event that we have for AIEA, and it just shows the respect for the homelands of where we are currently at. Beneath the contemporary surface of any site in the United States, there are histories of belonging that have been erased, overlooked, contested, and forgotten, all ways to support ideas like manifest destiny, which justified the conquest of native lands. Between 1776 and 1887, the United States seized over 1.5 billion acres from America's indigenous people by treaty and executive order. There are currently 574 sovereign tribal nations, variously called tribes, nations, bands, pueblos, communities, and native villages that have formed a nation-to-nation relationship with the U.S. government. There were 334 federally and state-recognized American Indian reservations in 2010. These 574 tribal nations are located across 35 states and within the geographic borders of the United States. Even within the U.S. borders, each tribal nation exercises its own sovereignty. Each of the 574 tribal governments is legally defined as a federally recognized tribal nation. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who have contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment in time. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life, and some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connections across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. Today, we acknowledge the ancestral lands of the Tohono O'odham and the Waimea people, upon which I currently am. And I also acknowledge the homelands of the Akimel O'odham and the Peeposh people, upon which the AIEA headquarters stands. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, and migration and settlement that brings us here together today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events. So again, I just want to say thank you for allowing this moment for us to give this land acknowledgement to the traditional homelands of the people we are visitors upon. So thank you for that time. Next, we have just an agenda overview. We'll do our welcome, our land acknowledgement and introductions, approval of minutes, president's reports, treasurer's report, our Indian education updates from both the state office and our national office. And then we'll have a special presentation. We'll have our invited guest that she'll be joining us later as the meeting goes on. And then we'll go into old business, new business, and then I do want to try and provide enough time for our program share outs. And then that'll be our meeting for today. So really quickly, I do want to do a quick introduction. So Nawa Kwahat Hatso Mtoya Goigu Masip Chawi Eda Kimberly Denkabige Khan. My name is Kimberly Denkabige. I am of the Kiowa, Caddo, and Pawnee Nations, originally from Oklahoma. I currently work with Amphitheater Public Schools here in Tucson, Arizona, as the Native American Education Coordinator, and I also sit as the current president for the AIEA. So I do want to allow a short time for quick introductions. I do want to begin with our executive officers, and then we'll go down the list. So I'll turn it over to, and we'll start with our Vice President, Esther.
Yeah, thank you for letting me be here today. My name is Esther Nystrom. I am the CEO and founder of Bitterwater Design, and also I currently work as the Elder in Residence at Arizona State University. I am the sitting vice president for AIEA, and thank you for letting me be here today. It's good to see all your faces, and we'll have a good meeting. Yeah.
Next we have Travis.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to see some familiar faces. Travis Lane. I work with. I'm the secretary for Arizona Indian Education Association, and currently just doing some independent contractor work through various schools throughout the nation. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. And then we'll go down the list as I see it on my screen. First up, we have Linan.
Hayat Shaylin and Yazi and Shet, what had leaning a schlittle, my dish gives you chin. Tetnazati dishachedo kiani dishanella. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the invitation to join today. I'm the Deputy Associate Superintendent for the Office of Indian Education at the Arizona Department of Education. So good to see you all. Thank you.
Always great to see you, Linan. Thank you for joining us. Next, we have Katie.
Sorry, I lost my mouse. My cursor was gone. Good morning, everybody. I am Katie Parker from White Mountain Apache Tribe with the White River Unified School District as the Federal Programs Coordinator. It's good to see you all. I hope you guys are all staying nice and warm.
We hope you're staying warm too, Katie. Thank you for joining us. Next, we have Gerard.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Gerard Begay. I'm the coordinator for the American Indian Students Center here at South Mountain Community College. It's good to be invited and good to be here today. Thanks.
We're still. I'm just so excited you're still back, Gerard. Thank you.
This calls for a bean celebration.
It does, a big bean celebration. Next, we have Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah Woody Jackson Unisha, Turajini Nishlan, Tutsu Nipashis Chin, Sandra Kineta Shiche Del Topahadishinella. And welcome. I am the current program project specialist for the Office of Indian Education. So I work alongside with Linan, and I just want to say thank you all for being here and having me as well.
Always good to see you too, Sarah. Thanks for joining us. Just one note, I did switch out Linan's name with your name, so when the slide comes up, but Linan did say that she'll be able to provide the updates, and so don't be alarmed when you see that. Next, we have, thanks for joining us. Next, we have Shannon.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be a part of this, and I'm excited for what this meeting will come for our program.
Thank you for.
Sorry, I'm coming from Girl Scouts. I'm sorry. Tribal Affairs, Community Support Executive is my position. It's a brand new program under the Girl Scouts Council here with Arizona Pine Cactus.
Thank you, Shannon. That's what I was going to ask next. So thank you for sharing that. For those AIEA members, the contact we used to have for Girl Scouts was Mag Bose. So Shannon is our new person that will be our contact for that. So thank you, Shannon, again for joining us. We're excited and looking forward to future collaborations with you guys. Next, we have Trudy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trudy Pacala, and I was a member a few years ago with MAG. I'm now the director of the Community Engagement Tribal Affairs team. We're a new team out at Girl Scouts, and I work with Shannon. And I'm really excited to be here.
As always, it's always great to have new ones or the members return back. So thank you for coming back to us, Trudy. We look forward to working with you guys. And then we have Joaquin.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Joaquin Preston. I'm the Tribal State Policy Associate with the National Indian Education Association. It's always glad to be back working with our Arizona partners and friends.
I really appreciate you joining us at our meetings, Joaquin. You provide a lot of great information, so we're looking forward to the updates for that. Our next meeting, as I mentioned, will be in March. And so in April. We will not have our March meeting. So our next meeting, please mark your calendars, will be April 21st. So that's 2 months. And so again, we'll be sharing out some PD information as the meeting comes along. Next, we have the approval of the minutes. Travis, I'm not sure if you're able to drop the meeting minutes for January 20th in the chat box. If not, then we can definitely send those out to everybody. But I do want to make note that, again, just due to our transition of our leadership for AIEA, I am going to request. I did not have time to actually do all of the meeting minutes from June 24th, September 9th, October 21st, and November 18th. So if I could just have a motion to table those minutes, then I would really appreciate that.
I'd like to make a motion to table the meeting minutes until a future meeting.
Okay, just to make note, these are the tabling is for the June 24th through November 18th only. And then Travis did drop our January 20th minutes in the chat box.
This is Katie, I second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. All those that abstain, same sign. Any discussion on that? I do want to make note that Travis did drop the minutes in the chat again. So thank you, Travis, for doing that. All right, motion passed. Thank you, guys. We'll table those meeting minutes and I will get those out to you in a timely manner. I just didn't want to drop it all on you all at once today, because there is quite a bit of minutes we do need to approve from that time. Again, Travis did drop those meeting minutes in the chat box. Please take a moment to review those meeting minutes. And I'll give you just a few minutes to do that. And then I will call for a vote for approval. I did put them on the screen for those that may not be able to pull those down. So I'll just quickly scroll through. Okay, so those are the meeting minutes for the last meeting of January. I'd like to call for a vote to approve, or a motion, sorry. And this will be just a motion to approve the January 20th meeting minutes.
This is Esther. I'd like to make a motion to approve the January 20 meeting minutes.
All right, motion on the floor. Is there a second?
This is Katie. I second.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. All those abstain, like sign. Any discussion? Motion passed. All right, thank you, members. I appreciate that. So next on the agenda, we have the president's report. So I do have just a few things. Let me find my notes here. A few things I just wanted to make mention of. So first and foremost, I just wanted to make mention of the Elizabeth Peretrovich Day, which was yesterday, February 16th. She was Tinklet from Alaska who fought for laws to protect the Alaskan Native civil rights. And in her honor, the Native American Rights Fund is actually calling for a Native American Voting Rights Act to address the unique voting obstacles faced by Native Americans. So I am actually going to drop that link in the chat so you can read more about that. But she was one of the trailblazers for Native voting to allow for Native Americans to vote. And so there is a special day that acknowledges that moment in history, that historical moment. And so that was yesterday, and I just wanted to acknowledge that day. Next, I do also want to acknowledge that next week is International Mother Language Day. This will be on February 21st. It's encouraged to celebrate it throughout the entire month, but the idea to celebrate International Mother Language Day was the initiative of Bangladesh. It was approved at the 1999 UNESCO General Conference and has been observed throughout the world since 2000. Multilingual and multicultural societies exist through their languages, which transmit and preserve traditional knowledge and cultures in a substantial way. Language diversity is increasingly threatened as more and more languages disappear. Globally, 40% of the population does not have access to an education in a language they speak or understand. Nevertheless, progress is being made in multilingual education with growing understanding of its importance, particularly in early schooling, and more commitment to its development in public life. And it's really encouraging to see a lot of the language immersion schools that have really popped up over the past several years for our tribal communities. I did want to mention there is an event that I know about that will be taking place locally for me here in Tucson. It's going to take place at the University of Arizona, and the American Indian Language Development Institute at the U of A will celebrate International Mother Language Day throughout February and the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. So this is from 2022 through 2032. Wow, that seems a long ways off, but I know it's going to come up quick. The event that they're going to be holding is Hand Talk. If you've seen the Super Bowl, the big talk around the Super Bowl for the indigenous communities is not only acknowledging us, but as well as the sign language interpreter that was there at the opening. And so that was really exciting to see our indigenous North American Indian Sign Language that was being showcased during that time at such a big event. So this event at the U of A will be Hand Talk, like Indigenous Spoken Language is being reclaimed and revitalized. Dr. Melody Cody, who is Cherokee, an assistant professor, she is an assistant professor of the Disability and Psychoeducational Studies at the University of Arizona, will be the presenter. She will discuss her research on the international she will discuss her research on the intergenerational transmission of tribal sign languages through ancestral linguistic landscapes or rock art. This will take place on Monday, so this coming Monday. It'll take place at the College of Education. It'll take place from 3 to 4 p.m. in the World of Words room, and it's in room 453. Sign language interpreters will be provided. So we'll send that flyer out. I'm not sure if I can upload a picture of that, but we'll get that out to you, to the membership also. But again, that's taking place on Monday, February 20th, in honor of the International Mother Language Day. Next, AIEA, we do get some invitations to share out to our community. So we did receive an invitation from a gentleman up in the northern part. I believe he's out of Oneida Nation, but they're doing a Indigenous Pedagogy Virtual Academy, and it's throughout the month of February. They've already held one session, and the next session will actually be coming up on Monday also, which will be from 4 to 5 p.m. Central Time, which I believe is the same time as the Mother Language event, but that's going to be 3 to 4 p.m. Arizona time. Again, this is virtual. This is one of the only annual Indigenous Pedagogy virtual series of no-cost professional development throughout the world. A certificate of participation can be provided upon request by contacting Dr. Dan Neeham and requesting by name of the presenter and session title. The session coming up is called Teaching from Indigenous Perspectives. Nikki Michael, who is Delaware or Lenape, Dr. Nikki Michael, she is currently the interim president and chair of the American Indian Studies from Bacone College. So I am actually going to drop that in the chat for those of you who may be interested in joining that. Again, that will take place on Monday. And then we have some partnerships that I just want to highlight. Again, our special guest who will be joining us soon is from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. She'll be sharing out the collaborative efforts that we're looking forward to doing with that group. We are looking at professional development workshops in March, as well as an online summer course that will be provided specifically for the AIEA community, but I'll allow her some time to share that out during her special presentation. We did get some contacts from the Arizona State University. They are wanting to create a listserv from the Office of Gender-Based Violence and wanted to know if we wanted to be included. So if you're interested in being on that listserv, then please provide your contact information. I'll put her information here in the chat. So let me put that. It's the ASU listserv for Office of Gender-Based Violence. So if you're wanting to be on that listserv, I put the contact information in the chat also. And then I just wanted to highlight a few student opportunities. The Central Arizona Project is opening up the 2023 Summer Tribal Internships. The Central Arizona Project has opened their applications for the Summer Tribal Internships. Applicants must be a sophomore or higher level student or a recent graduate. The intern could be an undergrad or a graduate student. This year, CAP is offering 6 paid internships to join their team, 2 of which are for tribal applicants only. The applicants must be an enrolled member of a federally recognized tribe and provide proof of tribal enrollment. So I am going to drop that information in the chat. Please share out for any interested students that may be interested in doing this internship here. Again, that's for 2 tribal interns with the Central Arizona Project. Next, we have the Mayos Clinic College of Medicine and Science Native American Pathways Program. This is a 5-week virtual program occurring between July 10th and August 11th. The mission of the Native American Pathway Program is to address Native American health disparities by increasing the number of Native Americans and health careers through long-term mentorship and a robust 5-week summer curriculum guided by faculty and staff. Learners will focus on developing skills and strategies for the medical school admissions process. And I am going to drop that link in the chat for more information and to be able to share that information out with your students. You can have this information here. And then we have I think this is my last one. Yep. The 11th Annual Indigenous Youth Media Workshop. This is going to be taking place at Northern Arizona University. Applications are now open for this year. The workshop will be held June 25th through July 1st. Preference is given to Indigenous junior and senior high school students, but the workshop is open to all students in grades 8 through 12. Students will live in a residence hall on the beautiful NAU Mountain campus for the entire week with all the meals provided. This is a hands-on video production workshop. Students work in the School of Communications Media Innovation Center, learning how to interview, write, shoot, edit, and produce stories for a live student-produced television news broadcast. The cost is $50, but there are full scholarships that are available. There is limited space, only 25 students are admitted, and applications will close on April 17th. If a student does not have internet access, they may call the number which I'll provide for any questions, and that application can be mailed to them. Questions may be sent to Paul Helford, who is the workshop director. I will put this information in the chat also, so that you can share out with your high school students if they're interested for that. And again, that is the Indigenous Media Youth Workshop there at NAU. And then that is all that I have for our President's Report. Again, I just want to say welcome and thank you for joining us this morning. I will send out a follow-up email with all these opportunities available so that you'll be able to have it all in one space. And so, are there any questions? All right, if there are none, then we will move on in our agenda, which is a treasurer's report, and I will turn it over to Travis.
Good morning again, everybody. When I give the treasurer's report, I always like to provide some history about AIEA. The organization's roots started back in the 70s. It was a group of parents in the Phoenix Valley that were concerned about the ability to access JOM funds in a timely manner. And they felt that was really important, that a forum of Indian parents meet on a regular basis to talk about these different types of education issues. In the 80s, they organized, I think it was called something like the Phoenix Greater Valley Indian Education Organization. And actually, Teresa Price was one of the founding members of that organization. And then AIA eventually was formed out of that. In the 90s and the early 2000s, we established a nonprofit organization as Arizona Indian Education Association. And then in the late 2010s and early 2010s, the organization went a little stagnant. There was discussion about dissolving the organization, but there was still a group of dedicated Indian educators seeing the importance of this organization. And so they decided to continue it, but they felt that they needed some sort of fiscal sponsor to support the operation of the organization. And Intertribal Council of Arizona had decided to serve as that sponsor. So we have two accounts that we monitor. The first one is the Desert Financial Account, which we established when we started the nonprofit in 2003. And then when ITCA became the fiscal sponsor, we have an account through ITCA. And for the Desert Financial Account, our savings is $30,420.06. In our checking, we have $2,120.24. There were no transactions in the months of December and January. And we're still working with ITCA to get an update on the finances for our ITCA account. And we yet to get a response from ITCA with regards to that. But to my knowledge, there has been no activity under that account for at least 6 months now. And that would conclude my treasury report. Anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Travis. I appreciate you sharing that out. I know, as I mentioned, Sheila is not able to join us this morning, and she serves as our current treasurer for AIEA, but Travis has been our treasurer in the past, and so I apologize for putting you on the spot, Travis. I didn't mean to, but you always are prepared, so thank you for providing that report for us. Appreciate that. And so if there's no questions, thank you for that update. Next on our agenda is our special presentation. I did try to reach out to our presenter. She has not responded just yet, but she is actually in a different time zone right now. And so I'm hoping that I will hear back from her shortly, or she'll be able to join us. But in the meantime, whenever she does come on, then we'll allow her that time for a short presentation. But in the meantime, we'll move on in our agenda just for the sake of time. So we do have our Indian education updates. As I mentioned, I did have Sarah, usually it's Lynn Ann's, but Sarah gave the report last month. And so I apologize, ladies. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to provide it, which I know you always do provide great information. So I am going to turn it over to Lynn Ann to provide an update for our Indian education from the Office of Indian Education at the State Department. So Lynn Ann.
Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Thank you, Kimberly. Let me go ahead and, oh, I think you need to stop sharing so I can share. Let me see. Looks like you did. Oh, there we go. Okay. Can you all see my screen all right?
We do not see your screen, Lynn Ann.
Do not. Okay, let's try that. How about now?
We do now.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I just have a few slides and some information that I'm going to go ahead and share, just some updates from from my office and our team. And so just a quick kind of overview. I don't know, are you able to see this menu up here? Or am I just able to see that menu? Let's move it up. Okay. Just a quick overview. We've had a little bit of restructuring and reorganization here at the department with our new leadership. We do have a new superintendent that came in and started at the beginning of January. That is Superintendent Tom Horn. He did bring in a team of his own kind of leadership, his associates. He brought in a deputy, you know, so we do have a new kind of level of leadership in that sense. In regards to our office, we used to be under equity, diversity, and inclusion. That no longer exists. So now we are under the Division of Academic Achievement, and that is where our office currently sits in the Arizona Department of Education. And just wanted to share, you know, information about who our staff is. Terry Beeler Saucedo is our tribal grant specialist. She's been with the office the longest. I think she's going on she's just finishing up, I believe, her 5th year with the office. She oversees the Johnson O'Malley grants. She oversees the Tribal College Dual Enrollment programs, and she also oversees tribal consultation for all of our title programs. Then we have Sarah Woody Jackson, who is on the call today. She did introduce herself. She's our newest team member. She's our program project specialist. She really helps with a lot of, she really helps to keep our team kind of organized. She's the one who manages our emails. She manages our calendars. She also is involved in several of our partnership kind of meetings and things like that. Then we have Helen Thomas, who's our professional learning coordinator. She's been with the office for about, I believe about a year and a half now. And she oversees all professional learning, professional development, in curriculum materials from our office. Then we have Brooke Curlyhair, who's our education program specialist. She's been with the office for about 2 years now, and she oversees a lot of our communications. So any emails that you receive, Brooke's the one that sends all of that out. She also oversees our program and policy updates meeting. And so she also assists Helen in any professional learning, professional development that is provided from our office. So that's just a little bit about our team. Just want to share some information about some, I guess, updates. So one of our exciting updates and announcements that we have is that we are going to be opening up our OIE RISE grants, so Raising Indigenous Success in Education. We intend to award a minimum of 8 multi-year grants in amounts up to $225,000 each to support educational needs and opportunities in Arizona districts and schools that serve a significant number of Native American students and educators. Well, I should say students and staff, really, not just specifically educators. And so the OIE RISE grant will be, the application will open March 1st. So we are gonna, please share that out with your, with any of your contacts. It hasn't gone live, but it will go live in GME, which is our grants management system. So every school district that receives funding has access to GME. And that's where they will be able to apply for this grant. And I'm going to go ahead and put that information here in the chat if I can get this. Oh, well, let me see if I can get it open here. There's the chat. Okay, there we go. This information will be live on our website once we. Let's see. Sorry, I don't know. That's not what I intended to do. I don't know why I did that. There we go. Okay. So that's information about our RISE grant. We're excited that I think this may be the first time outside of, we have other grants that we manage, but this one is coming, it is being made available thanks to our office receiving the $5 million from state funding, which has never happened before. So moving forward, we are looking to advocate for permanent funding for the office, and we hope to make these grants a permanent part of the office, what the office is able to offer moving forward. That information, we will have a grant webpage on our OIE website that should be going live in the next couple of weeks when the application becomes available. And then we have our next OIE policy and program updates for Indigenous stakeholders meeting, which is scheduled for Monday, February 27th at 10 a.m. And we'll be featuring presentations from our Native American Code Writer grantees. The Code Writers program is funded at $1 million, also through state funding. And that funding does come through our office. We selected 2 grantees this year. That was the Arizona Science Center and the University of Arizona. And the overall goal is to expose Native American students to computer science programming, and also to train educators to be able to provide lessons and courses for Native American students. We will also have representatives from our Arizona Department of Education Project Aware program area, and they'll be sharing some updates and information that they have available, opportunities that they have available from their division. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here. And that's just information about our policy and program updates. Again, all this can be found on our website, and I'll share that link here soon. We also wanted to share out an opportunity for educators. It is a professional learning opportunity titled Teaching Tribal Sovereignty in K-12 Classrooms. It's going to be a webinar happening on March 7th from 4 to 5 p.m. And I'm going to go ahead and put that flyer in the chat right now. And that's open to anybody that wants to register. You just have to create an ADE Connect account. And then also other exciting news, we're going to be expanding our staff. We're going to be hiring for 3 new positions, 2 educational specialists and 1 data coordinator. The applications should be posted in the next few weeks, and that's at least what I'm being told. So hopefully it does get out there within the next 2 to 3 weeks or so. So please be on the lookout for that. Our education specialists are really going to be assisting and focusing on statewide school improvement. And so actually working on site with our districts, looking at root cause analysis, their analysis, their CNAs, which are their comprehensive needs assessments. And so again, it's that in the field work that we're hoping to be able to provide that currently we just don't have the capacity to do that. And we're hoping to expand so that we can provide more in the field technical assistance. And then of course, a data coordinator, we're looking for somebody, who can look at collecting, cleaning data, but also being able to analyze data so that we as an office can start to make data-driven decisions and ensure that everything that we do is based off of the information and research that this person is going to be able to gather for us. And so again, like I said, those applications should be posted in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully earlier, that it's actually possible it might be earlier. But I will put our ADE Human Resources website there in the chat. I'm hoping that if it doesn't hyperlink automatically, I will put the addresses in after I'm done with my updates. And then, so that's actually it for us. So we just encourage you all, you can call us, you can come visit us if you'd like to. We have our address available there. There we go. So you can call us, our physical address. We're located on 15th Street, just north of Washington. So basically it's 15th Avenue and Adams. Apologies for that. And then you can email us anytime, or you can visit our website anytime. So that's all of the information that I have. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I think we're good to go then. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. You always provide great information from the office. Thank you guys for the work phenomenal work that you continue to do for our Indian education communities. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us as well. So next on our agenda, we do have our National Indian Education Association update. Joaquin, do you need to share any slides?
No, I won't need to share any slides. I'll just be going over some bills going around the US.
Sounds good. Well, you're up. So I'll turn it over to you, Joaquin.
Okay, so quickly, I wanted to just give you some updates on NIEA coming out to Arizona in, let's see, April. We are working with, of course, I think I spoke with you, Linan, about this, and I will get in touch with you, Kim. We've actually just met right before this meeting to get the kind of agenda together and exactly what dates we want to bring some of our partners in, AIEA being one of those. So I will speak with you specifically, but we're thinking of the week of April 3rd through the 7th. And then I know that that's right before Easter, so it would we wouldn't be doing anything on that Friday right before the Easter holiday, but we will have an opportunity to bring some of our program team members, me, of course, and then our executive director, Diana, wants to be there for a day. And we just want to get together, collaborate with our partners, AIEA, ITCA, OIE, and just kind of discuss all the movement that's happening in the state right now, and just kind of share out, but also get do some planning in terms of what the asks are from NIEA once we have an idea of everything that's going on in the state, just sharing out. And so we definitely want to support all the movement in the state, and this is just a time because it's an opportunity that we can get our program team out, that we do want to just sit back, also just visit with all of our partners in Arizona, because you all are quickly becoming the model for how work gets done, specifically related to NIFA, and all the components related to it, from professional development to the legislative side. So I will meet with I'll get in contact with you, Kim, and you as well, Ann, but just kind of something that I want to bring everybody's attention to, that we will be out there. And hopefully we have some time to not only talk about everything that's going on in the state, but also just personal time for you all to meet NIEA as well. And then, so I want to get into kind of the meat of my updates, with the legislation happening around the country. So NIEA just put out its legislative review. So I did share a Word document the last time I was here on that legislative review, and we have it now posted out on our website. It's actually on the splash screen if you just go to our homepage, but I'll give you a direct link to that document again. And this is just I did share this information with you last time, but here's kind of the full, really professional, and has all the graphics and things on there. So I will share that in the chat real quick. And this will kind of give you, do our legislative side of things, more so than the state side of things. And we will be having our Hill Day on March 4th through the 7th, I believe. March 7th through the 9th. And that we'll have our one-pagers that we develop for when we go to each of our congressional offices with our asks from NIEA. And we will go ahead, and I'll share that once we get those done. That'll give you an idea of what we did on the Hill and our asks for that time we had, and it'll give you kind of another avenue to look into our federal side. So on the state side, there's been quite a bit of movement. We haven't comprehensively gone through every state yet, but we have seen a couple of really interesting items pop up, specifically in Oklahoma, because we are partly based in Oklahoma. And Kim, you might have heard some of this through the grapevine as well. They have a NIFA-like bill, Native Education for All bill, HB 2115, curriculum related to Native history and culture. This would make this a requirement to teach within the state. And the way that the advocates are pushing this bill is because there's so much anti-CRT, so many anti-CRT bills and positions within Oklahoma, advocates are trying to clarify that Native history does not fall within those CRT parameters. And so that's the strategic position they're taking. And so hopefully we'll get some good news. We do know that in 2009 and 2015, similar bills were tried. This is kind of a rewording of those bills. Hopefully they can get through this time around, but we'll keep you updated. But we also have SB 429, which is a regalia bill, allow students to wear their traditional regalia to school-related ceremonies, primarily high school graduation, hoping for a floor vote on the 23rd. And then SB 863, that would be this is probably the most fascinating bill coming out of Oklahoma. It would be a 10-year plan to remove federal funding from the state, and they would transition and the way we are interpreting this, it would be a workaround to all of the requirements that come with federal funding, specifically around teacher training and where specific monies needs to be allocated towards specific communities. This would be a workaround if the state could become completely state funded, or at least take out their federal funding. We're really not sure where this will go. We know that it's not necessarily a popular bill, but it is one that's getting a lot of attention. And we thought it was interesting because there's a lot of funding that comes towards Native programs from those federal dollars. And then we have in Nevada a revision to a 2021 bill that was kind of a tuition waiver. What it actually was in-state schools and universities could not charge tribal residents to attend those schools. And so they're revising that to update it, to expand it a little bit more for those students who might live on the state line, who go to school in Nevada, but are technically residency is in another state, to expand the program to allow them to take advantage of those tuition waivers. And in New Mexico, there's a bill where they're trying to amend the Indian Education Act to provide a tribal education trust fund in the amount of $50 million. And that would come out of a public education reform fund. And then out of that 50 million, they're proposing a 5% annual distribution to the tribes in New Mexico beginning in 2025. And this is all part of the response to the Yazi Martinez case a couple of years ago. In Washington State, there is a HB 1399, which is a scholarship program. Again, it would be a bill for schools, part of the state university system, to have a scholarship program in the amount of residency tuition and fees for Native students from federal recognized tribes in the state. And then HB 1332, which was interesting because I know they have a since time immemorial curriculum within the state that's been developed, ready to go. But because it has not been broadly incorporated into the school systems there, this is a bill that would make it I believe the specific language is shall incorporate that curriculum into social studies. So that's an interesting bill because Washington State is such a leader, but they're still having issues incorporating that curriculum. And then in Montana, of course, you know, Indian Education for All, they're stuck in litigation out there. And HB 338 is an attempt in Montana to strengthen Indian Education for All, kind of addressing some of those concerns with transparency when it comes to where is money actually going, as well as providing a little bit more for the professional development. And so that's kind of a quick snapshot of everything going on around the country. I don't believe that's everything. Hopefully next week I can give you we can find a couple more things out there, but that's kind of a roundup of what we're seeing around the country right now. So a lot of really cool and interesting things. I know that Oklahoma bill is a little, it doesn't really seem to have traction in trying to remove federal funding, but we're very interested in seeing exactly where it goes because it might come up a couple years down the line. We'll see, but those are kind of the things going on around the country. So unless you have any other questions, again, we have Hill Week coming up. I assume if you haven't made your plans yet, because it is so soon that you probably will not make it, but I can also give you a little report when I come back next month on exactly what we did out there, who was all involved, and again, bringing you those one-pagers for the asks that NIEA made on the Hill.
Thank you, Joaquin. That is fantastic updates on a lot of the information that you shared. Are there any questions for Joaquin or any comments or clarifications? Because Joaquin had all the answers.
Kimberly, just a quick comment. Joaquin, thank you so much for sharing that information. I look forward to looking further into some of those bills that you were talking about. I just wanted to, again, I guess, re-emphasize, right, re-emphasize distinguishing the difference between CRT and even culturally relevant teaching, culturally responsive teaching, or culturally responsive education, pedagogy. I think there really we need to continue to make that distinction, that teaching culture and history and teaching in ways that best serve our Indigenous students is not critical race theory. So just wanted to encourage us to continue moving forward with that. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Lenan. I do keep up to date because Oklahoma's my home state. And so I still have nieces and nephews that are still going through the school system there. And my children actually have gone through that school system when they were a lot younger. So I definitely keep up with the educational updates there also. So I did hear about those that Joaquin mentioned. I thought it was really interesting because Oklahoma is one of the states that has a large population of Native Americans, that they just now are passing legislation for approval of Native regalia to be admitted for these graduations. I know it's been a big topic across Indian country for years, but yeah, I was happy to see that, as well as the twist that, well, not twist, but the clarification they're wanting to do just specifically on what Lenan just mentioned about teaching and implementing that within the curriculum there in the state. So interesting things that are happening, exciting at the same time. And with Montana, I saw where the government or the legislators down the Indigenous Peoples Day, but they're continuing to move forward there also. But there's a lot that is going on within Indian country. And Joaquin, again, thank you for providing the updates that you do at our meetings every month, because I think it's very important that we keep apprised of everything that's happening out there. It's not just us here within our state, but it's also happening out there. And what is happening out there will eventually have an effect on us here. And so thank you again for sharing that out. One comment also in regard to the Washington, I'm happy to see that they're trying to instill that shall implement. I do have a colleague or college friend who is actually in the state of Washington, and I've reached out to him several times. He's with the Yakama Nation. He was actually one of the tribal officials there. But he said one of the things that they've run into with this curriculum is that they don't have the teachers that know how to teach it. And that's a huge part of implementing that type of curriculum within the classroom. And I know that here at the U of A and at ASU and NAU, we have great ITEP programs that are being provided for our teachers to help guide those persons or individuals in how to teach this type of specific curriculum. And again, just going back to that difference, we want to make the difference that, I think to me, it's just another way to try and keep us out of the classroom. But, acknowledging that difference between the CRT and the Indigenous pedagogies. So I think, making that known and educating others about that difference will help provide that pathway to implementation within the classroom itself. And so important things that are happening out there. So please keep apprised of that. If you have any questions, Joaquin is a great resource to provide more information that you may have on that. So thank you so much, Joaquin. Are there any other comments or questions in regard to what was shared?
Just a last comment. Kind of to, my mind, I have to be very clear with what I'm designating acronyms to, but I think for my peace of mind, I need to start either putting an I or an N in front of the native culturally relevant teaching, or Indigenous culturally relevant teaching, because, you know, where I work, we definitely have, you know, the critical race theory always on our plate, where we're trying to be careful with that too. But kind of combining the two, I think, you know, our parents are going to easily flip one for the other and not know there's a difference.
Yeah, that can become confusing, especially when you're trying to clarify and help educate others on using those type of acronyms. You know, I always have to sometimes go back and a lot of the education meetings that I'm a part of and look up, okay, what does this acronym stand for? You know, but because there's so many out there, but, you know, and again, just identifying that difference, you know, or including that portion of what we're trying to put out there. So thank you, Katie, for that comment. Any other comments or questions? All right, great information. So thank you again, Lynn Ann and Joaquin, for providing those updates. And we greatly appreciate each of you being a part of our monthly meetings to provide this information and keep us updated on what's happening out there in Indian country. So thank you so much. We do have our special guest that is with us on the call. So I am going to go back one for our special presentation. And so I just want to invite Megan Cruz. She is here with us this morning. She is from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and she is the contact person we have on what I mentioned in my president's report in regard to partnerships and collaborative efforts that we're going to be doing with AIEA and these organizations. And so I am going to turn it over to her. So thank you again, Megan. I apologize for not clarifying the time zone for when I wanted you to hop on, but I appreciate you the time to be here. And so if you need, are you going to need access for the screen? I can stop.
I am. I'm going to share some slides, and I have to apologize because I'm going to introduce another acronym with all that talk. So get prepared. Let me find this. And thank you, Kim, for inviting me. I realized it's been a couple of years since I've last spoken at AIEA, so it's good to be back. And I'm just going to share some information about upcoming events that we have planned. So as Kim mentioned, I'm with the St. Louis Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. I actually live in Oklahoma, so Joaquin, it was good for me to have that update, and I learned some information. But I lead our program that's specifically focused on providing financial education and economic education for tribal nations and Native communities around the country, or NEFI for short. And I just want to bring your attention to some upcoming activities that we have planned. So one, the upcoming one is we plan to have on March 22nd, and this will be a webinar beginning at 1 o'clock Mountain Time. So this is to provide AIA just an overview of NEFI, our program, and all of the free financial education resources that we offer, beginning as young as pre-K. So in addition to that, I've been in discussions with Kim about outlining and planning some other webinars for our team to share additional information throughout the year, specifically on topics such as decision-making, using credit, saving and savings goals, and budgeting. Now, certainly if there are other topics around personal finance that the group is interested in hearing more about, I'd be happy to hear that input, see what we can do to provide that programming. I'd also say, in addition to the personal finance resources that we're going to share, we also have resources around career exploration for secondary as well. And then lastly for today, I also want to just kind of give you a preview of what we have planned. And that is a virtual summer class. And this will be through our platform called Econ Lowdown. And this is a free online classroom portal that we will set up for AIEA, and where students, particularly this one is going to be geared for high school and college, can go through interactive modules and Q&As to learn specifically about the topics I show there, how to create and keep a budget, how to evaluate everyday decisions, and also touching on using credit and saving as well. So excited about that. We will also are creating a digital badge for this AIEA summer class. And so participants who complete the coursework will be able to get that badge as well. So more to come on that. I think we'll probably create a flyer, Kim, that you can distribute, but that should just give you a preview. And with that said, are there any questions
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate that short presentation. I didn't realize how short. No,
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I can talk about more if you want me to. I thought it was just an overview.
Well, right. This is a great overview of what we've been in touch about. And just for our AIEA membership, for our webinar session, this is a part of the professional development webinar series that we're going to be providing in the month of March. And so again, just refocusing on our personal finances and the financial information that will be provided during this specific webinar on March 22nd. And so we will get a flyer together for that and share that out with our community. So that way you'll have that on the calendars. And then Megan, for our summer class, I know the last time we opened it up was the time period. If you want to just share a little bit more specifically for what that will entail, that it's not just like a marathon webinars that they have to watch, but just a little bit more about what they're going to be doing for that.
Right. So we'll open up, and Kim, of course, I'll get your feedback on when you would like us to do. But so I think in the past, when we did this a couple of years ago, we opened up like the beginning of June through early September. So during that time period, students can join the class at any time. There's no specific where you have to complete a module by this time period. It's completely self-paced and can join at any time. And I think we had it set up last time. We do the same this year through like a Google login if they wanted to do. And if they don't have like a Gmail available, we can help them enroll in other ways as well. But this shouldn't be something where you actually have to enroll your students or whoever might be in it. For most cases, they should be able to do that on their own with that information in the flyer that we'll provide.
Thank you. And I think we might stick with the same timeline, opening it up in June and ending in the early part of September, just so we can make it easier for participants and attendees to be able to go through that whole process. So thank you for sharing that information out. Going back to our webinars that we're going to be providing, if you can click on that slide, Megan, please. That will be coming up. Megan also mentioned any other topics that might be of interest, but I do want to share out also for those who have been a part of AIEA. I think one of the last in-person meetings we had, they were actually our professional development trainers during that session, and they provided a lot of educational materials that were given out to all the attendees that participated there. And so that's another opportunity that Megan and I had talked about. If there's any materials that need to be shared out, she'll ship them to me, and then we'll disperse those out to participants ahead of time for that. But Megan, if you could just touch on the different, I know we've talked about the different emphasis for what these webinar sessions will be provided, and even the specific audiences that it will entertain, which is the elementary, middle school, high school, the different curriculums that you have available, also in addition to the financial workshops. That if you could just touch base a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I'm happy if I didn't know how much sorry if I misunderstood in the time I have. I can certainly go into more of an overview if you would prefer that as well.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay.
I allocated about 15-20 minutes for you.
Okay, good to know. I'll give some information. But yeah, so in most cases, I would say with NEFI, we're not necessarily engaged directly with students. We work more with educators and program staff to provide them professional development training on how to use our resources. So if you just give me a second, I'll pull up another PowerPoint here. Okay. I'm gonna reshare this. I think sometimes with presentations, the most stressed out I get is from just the technical side. So bear with me here.
I hear you. I'm the same way, but thanks for being flexible and sharing.
No problem. Sorry, I misunderstood the ask. Okay. So just to kind of give you an overview of our program, and first for those who maybe weren't in past presentations of ours, I just want to quickly tell you what the Federal Reserve is in case you're not familiar. So it is the central bank of the United States. So for instance, especially recently with talks of like inflation, interest rates going up, this is part of what we call monetary policy, which is something the Federal Reserve helps direct. Now, don't come to me complaining about the price of groceries. It's not me. that's far above my pay grade. But most of the times when you think of these core functions of the Federal Reserve, it's these three here that I show, including like providing an efficient payment system. So for instance, all the cash and coin that you get that comes and originates from the Federal Reserve, they put in circulation and take it out when it's unfit. And also what the public may not be as aware of is that we provide programs like the financial education program I'm showing you today as a free service to the public. So specifically in our work with tribal nations and Native communities, we understand that there are certain financial concepts that most everyone needs to understand, but we also know that there are specific issues, particularly within a community. We know Indian country is not monolith, it's diverse. And so for us, we really, when we are engaged with a tribe, we want to understand what are the needs of their community. So a couple examples we've seen in communities, for instance, that may be familiar with some of your communities, the lack of people who have bank accounts, who are nervous about banking. And so in those cases, we might talk about banking basics. In other ones, for instance, in communities, there might be an issue with payday lending, cash checking, things of this nature. So we really want to understand when we're engaged directly with a school or with a tribe, what are the needs within the community. We also, in our program, really seek the opportunity to highlight Native language and culture and incorporating those within there just to make sure that they are, certainly resonate more with the Native students. And then also, if there are broadband limitations, which we know is certainly an issue in Indian country, we also try to find ways to work around those. And in addition to that, as I mentioned, we primarily work directly with educators and with program staff of tribes to make sure that they are able to use our resources. And along with that, and this kind of where the webinars come in as well, we also understand, especially as you start to get to the secondary ages, there are topics like understanding credit, which educators and staff themselves may need more information on. So we also provide webinars like the ones that we'll do this year, just to make sure that educators are fully comfortable with the topic itself. If they have any questions, we can make sure that they're comfortable before they go and teach it to the students. So again, some of these things I already mentioned, but we do provide free resources as young as pre-K. So for instance, a Head Start program within a tribe or within a community. And we not only do virtual training, but we also do in person as well, if this is of interest. And most of the staff, we have over 10 staff, 12 staff now on our team. And most of them, with the exception of me, are former educators in the classroom who are developing these materials and these content. And in addition to this, we also conduct research in partnership with tribes and Native communities to really make sure that the resources that we have are meeting the needs of Native students. And also, as I've already mentioned, we really look for opportunities to embrace language and culture-based education. So in terms of our focus of personal finance concepts, there are some outside of this. I mentioned like baking basics and other topics, but these are really the core topics that we look to build on starting at a young age. So you might not think that some things like understanding credit, you could start talking about at a young age, but we actually have a lesson around Perry the penguin who gets in debt over clams for the 2nd grade. So it is quite possible to start talking about these concepts at a young age. And we certainly encourage starting at a young age. There's actually research that shows that by the age of 7, kids are already starting to develop their money habits, whether they're good or bad. So definitely starting young. In addition to all these, we have also career exploration resources as well. And all of this, again, is completely free. We not only have online resources, but also workbooks, activities, and lessons as well. So Kim, how am I doing on time?
You're doing perfect.
Okay, good. So I just want to highlight some examples of incorporating Native language and culture. I realize, depending on your schools, you may have a diverse body of students from different communities and tribes, but certainly when we're working directly with a tribe, we look for opportunities to highlight that. So a couple examples here on the far left is from Head Start program, corporate language. In the middle is a lesson that we helped develop around creating a patchwork skirt and selling them as a business. And on the right, we took a book within a tribe's program around their culture and developed a personal finance lesson around that. Now, especially for the elementary ages, we do use a lot of children's literature to teach concepts. So certainly if there are books in your schools that you're using that are focused around a Native culture. My team is happy to take a look at them to see if we could develop either a personal finance or economic lesson around them. Now, not every book is, is conducive to having a personal finance lesson, but we're certainly happy to take a look if there are any books that you're using. Next, I just want to make a note around our research around increasing financial capability. As I mentioned, we do research to measure the efficacy of our personal finance resources. And I just want to share a couple of insights that we've seen from this research. So we do see a correlation between being unbanked, not having a bank account, and the level of financial capability. So that means that those who are unbanked have lower financial capability scores. So certainly what we see in our research, the importance of exposing young people to banking at an early age and in their household. And then lastly, and these are things that I'm sure you all understand very well, but when we've taken pulse surveys in the past of Native educators, we found that the two greatest barriers to their students developing healthy financial behaviors is one, the lack of financial skills, and secondly, distrust of the financial system. So certainly in our program, we want to be able to strengthen Native students' access to personal finance education and give them those tools and opportunities. But also certainly we want to help familiarize them with the banking system, but also how to empower themselves, because unfortunately there's always those out there who seek to have bad intentions. So knowing what to anticipate, how to protect yourself as well is an important part of our program. So I realize most here are probably from school systems. So we not only work with schools around the country and certainly with educators in the schools, but these are just other programs that we would work in specifically with a tribe. So as you can see, it's quite broad. And I list down there, obviously, workforce development, specifically like summer youth work programs. We do a lot of work with those of tribes. And last one, adults aren't our focus, youth are our focus, but we do have some adult resources as well. I want to highlight our website. This is our NEFI website on the St. Louis Economic Education. And this is where you can find more information about the program and also some more information about resources. But certainly you can reach out to me directly if you have any specific questions. And lastly, just another website I want to mention again. And I mention this because this is part of that summer class that we are going to put on. This is Econ Lowdown. And I know it might be small there on the screen, but this is a free online classroom platform. And we actually provide trainings to teachers and program staff on how to use this. So you could go in there, you could set up your own classroom. We have modules with pre-test and post-test and knowledge checks. So it's nice because it allows you to track metrics on students on a wide range of different personal finance and economic topics. Why primarily on here, it's really geared towards high school and secondary, but we do have some resources for elementary as well. So I think I'll pause there to see if there are any questions.
What has the feedback been on the elementary kids with the penguin shell game?
Yeah, no, Perry the Penguin, actually we use that one quite a bit, and we have, and maybe next time, or I can certainly offline, if you want to, I can tell you more about the resources, but it's been positive. And like I mentioned, for elementary, for pre-K, they're all active hands-on learning. And so that's why really a virtual workshop isn't really conducive to that. And so it's been positive. And I would say, just to kind of highlight, since you mentioned elementary, we also have, this is for a youngest called Kiddonomics. And this is one in which we worked with tribes to actually introduce some either native language or culture around this, where we start at that age talking about these topics. And so far the feedback has been very good. I guess the key kind of feedback for there is that they're still using the lessons in their programming. Any other questions? And again, I'm happy if you want to contact me offline as well. Happy to answer any of your questions that you might have.
All right, thank you so much, Megan, for sharing that information. I thought it was just really important because of the audience that we have here to share, to dive a little bit deeper into what you guys offer, because it's great information and great resources that we can definitely utilize throughout the programs that we share out with among our communities also. So again, are there any? Yes, thank you so much. Again, are there any questions or comments? All right, if there are none, Megan, just to clarify, the online summer program that will be provided, that is actually opened up to students, parents, and our community members, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, but again, as Megan mentioned, we'll get a flyer together. We'll share that out for the upcoming opportunities that will be available for the community. So,
thank you again.
Thank you so much, Megan. Appreciate it. Let me get back on here. All right. So again, thank you for your patience and going through that, and your flexibility of us going through that special presentation. I think it was just really important to get the updates out there also. I do want to acknowledge and welcome Kathleen for joining us today. Kathleen, I'm going to allow you some time to just introduce yourself to the members here also. And thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kathleen Frank. I work at the Center for American Indian Economic Development at Northern Arizona University, and going shy from 2 years in this new position, not new to university setting or working with youth or high school programs. So it's great to be back in this space, and I certainly am enjoying all the information that we're receiving today. So thank you, Kim.
Oh, yeah, Kathleen, and it's so good to see a lot of our members returning back. They've been a part of AIEA for several years, and of course, with our schedules and conflicts that may arise as the years go through, it's always such a pleasure to have you come back. So thank you for joining us, Kathleen, and for being with us today. And next on our agenda, we have our old business. I just have one item, which is our student scholarship. So I am going to turn it over to Esther to share out some information in regards to what we have planned for this year. Esther, if you need me to talk, just let me know.
It's okay. I'll keep it short though. So we are looking on creating, excuse me. All right, so we're looking at looking for student scholarships, and we're looking to streamline that process for AIEA. We want the students to be able to get online quickly, be able to fill out their scholarship and not have to go through the hurdles of trying to email them, print them out, and going back and forth in with emails. Also, if they send it by Google Drive, not having the passwords. So we've had a few issues on getting those scholarships processed. But in the end, the students do get to send their scholarships in, but we're just looking on streamlining it. So in the near future, we'll be reviewing several different companies that can help with that process. One right now that we have is called Kaleidoscope. They have quite a few larger organizations that go through them, but with the committee, we will be sitting on at least maybe a couple of these Zoom meetings and being told what services they offer. So one, we'd like to get a committee together. I will be leading that committee, but I'll make sure that we have full conversations on knowing your schedule, making it available to you. And so, like I said, we're looking on streamlining it, making it easier for all of us to be able to review those applications or review just the parts that we need to give them the proper score so we can get those scholarships awarded. And then secondly, we were recently with the U of A, and they have offered to assist on getting that scholarship information out there. We would like to have an increased amount of scholarship submissions this year. So we'd like to get this committee started as soon as possible and start reviewing the application process so it's streamlined, and then getting that information to our students so they can have plenty of time to get whatever recommendation letters they need, videos that they have to create, art pieces, whatever the requirements are and that they are feeling to submit. We want to make sure that they have enough time to get those pieces. I'm looking for here. There we go, the call for scholarship committee members. If you would like to be on the scholarship committee, is there anyone who would like to talk about who has been on the scholarship committee? One, I enjoy hearing all the wonderful things students are working on, their accomplishments, their inspirations, their personal narratives. So if you'd like to join me, please email me at bitterwateraz@gmail.com, or you can also email our AIEA email. So I'm looking forward to working with you on these scholarships and also getting them streamlined, easier for our students to submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Appreciate that. And for continuing to head up our scholarship committee process. I know it can be tedious at times, but we appreciate you, your willingness to do that. So again, she is reaching out for any of our members that would like to be a part of the scholarship committee. If you would like to be a part of that, we do need to schedule our first committee meeting soon. So please reach out to Esther or to our AIEA Gmail, and that way we'll know that you want to be a part of the scholarship committee this year. So we're really excited and what potential we can do with this for this year. So we're excited to get started. So thank you, Esther. Are there any questions? All right, moving on. If there are none, we will go straight into our old business. Whoops, one too many. We do have our summer camp that is coming up. Just a clarification for our winter camp. That was actually canceled just due to not enough student participation that we would hope for as far as trying to get that going. But we do have our presenters, we do have our elders that are willing to work with us again. We are reaching out to more college mentors. So if you know of any college students that might be willing to assist us this year for our summer camp, this will be an in-person camp. We are looking at several locations. So if you want to offer space, please reach out to me or to our AIEA account. So that way we can start planning for the summer camp. We do have dates scheduled for July 28th through the 30th. It's going to be a weekend camp starting on Friday evening, all day Saturday, and half a day on Sunday. For our registration, because it is in person and all the extras that come with that, we do want to try and keep it affordable for our programs and our Indian education programs that may bring students to the camp. And so the non-member, if you are not a member of AIEA, it will be a $200 registration fee. And for all of our AIEA membership, it will be $150. So that includes any organization or school district that is a member of AIEA. All of your students will receive that same discount price. And so we do have daily themes. This event is opened up for students in grades 7 through 12th grade that live in Arizona and that are enrolled within Arizona schools. This year's theme emphasizes the ways our ancestors use cultural knowledge of the surrounding environment to sustain a way of life for our people. Our theme this year is braiding the elements of life, where we are going to be focusing upon 4 elements, the main elements of the fire, water, air, and the land. And so with the fire, what we're looking at is the implication for that is around the home, around family teachings from the time since we're born. As a child, what was a spark that instilled in you, that was instilled in you to maintain the teachings that are passed down to you? That includes any type of ceremonial teachings that you still practice or that you still hold to as you're throughout your entire life. For the water, we're looking at the planning process, which includes the home, the life, that idea of the moisture and the new beginnings. It's an indication of growth. In relation to water, how would you describe how you navigated overcoming turmoil? So in that question, we're wanting our students and participants to look at how water flows. You know, any obstacle that comes before it, there's always a way that it gets around that. So going through that, going back to the ground to recharge, to relearn, to expand your knowledge, you know, how did you feel that was absorbed into the air? And so just that concept is how we're looking at for that particular element. For the air, we're looking at life, the implementation of, it's a life cycle from birth to our last breath. Our ancestors and our spiritual connection. What is the feeling you get whenever you feel that your ancestors are near or close, and knowing that they provide the foundation that gives the strength to navigate life? So that's the focus that we're doing for the air portion or the air element. And for the land, it's as a reflection, where the land is viewed as a gift. It's a reciprocal relationship that we take care of the land, and the land will take care of us. And how are we taking care of what was gifted to us? So this is going to be providing the teachings and values that are embedded within the land that provide sustainability for our livelihood. And so this is a unique cultural camp that we provide to our students and for our youth. Again, this is for the youth in 7th through 12th grade. And so I'll share some contact information. I'm not able to get to it right now, but I'll share that contact information for who to contact for more information and the updated flyer. As you can see, we are still working on the location. I do need to update our registration fee and our deadline dates and get the calendar or the flyer updated. The registration link should work, but there are a few things I need to add to that registration before we actually make that public. But just keep in mind that this is the flyer that we're going to be updating, and this will again be for our annual summer camp. This will actually be the 4th year that we are going to be implementing the summer camp. Our first year started in 2017. That was held in the Prescott area and the Mingus Mountains. So it is a beautiful area, but we do want to try and get it to where it's traveling around the state, because we want to provide accommodations for all of our students throughout the state of Arizona. So again, once we narrow down a location or a space for that, for the summer camp, we are keeping in mind the heat factor. And so we will keep you updated and send that information out to our membership. Are there any questions? Esther?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that the price for this camp is very reasonable for our students, because it includes the food portion, room and board, the supplies, and also the t-shirts and lots of other things that the students will receive. So when it comes to a personal in-person camp, that this is a really wonderful price. We are accepting purchase orders, checks, and then we are currently working on taking virtual card payment as well. So just be aware of that information coming out to you.
Yes, and again, we are updating some of the information on the flyer. So once that gets confirmed and finalized, we'll send that out. We do want to start promoting the camp so that we can get students notified, as well as those schools that need that notice ahead of time. So we are, if you could just help us spread by word of mouth or social medias, please do so. We will provide this also up on our social media whenever we get that finalized. And are there any other questions or comments? All right, if there are none, one final thing before our program shareouts, we are going to get to the program shareouts shortly. So I appreciate your patience with that. Our bylaws, we are calling for bylaws committee members, and this is just some background of what we've done in the past. The last time I think we looked at our bylaws was several years back. We did have a review committee back in 2016 where we recommended changes, and the changes and recommendations were never voted upon by our general membership. So we do want to revisit that. So there is a call for bylaws committee. So Esther, I didn't know if you wanted to share anything further about that.
That just will be reviewing the bylaws. You need to be able to access Google Drive so we can look at the documents live. And if there are any changes, that we can do that immediately. And then we'll bring it back to the committee and to our members to vote on, to finalize it. So thank you very much, Davina, for wanting to be on that bylaw committee. So yep, you can either definitely email me. I put the email information in the chat which committee you would like to be on, or if you would like to be on several, and it's okay. Oh, and I see that's Katie. All right, well, thank you very much.
All right, are there any questions? All right, again, Esther's email contact is right there. So, and it's also in the chat if you would like to join either of the two committees. If there are no further comments or questions, we are finally at our program shareouts. I know that there's a few that do need to hop off for 1 o'clock meetings. And so Gerard, you're up first. So you can share out what information you have.
So good afternoon, everyone. Gerard from South Mountain Community College. One of the things that I wanted to share with you guys was that we are going to be hosting our 3rd annual Two-Spirit Powwow here at South Mountain Community College. It's going to be, I can share the flyer with you guys, but it's going to be on April 15th. It's on a Saturday. We're partnering up with Phoenix Indian Center. So we're actually partnering up and moving forward with the plans. It's going to be held outside in the amphitheater here at the Performing Arts Center. So if you're free on Saturday, April 15th, please come on out. If you're wanting to table at this event, or if you're thinking about selling, contact Phoenix Indian Center to have a form that you can fill out to go ahead and do this. Like I said, I will go ahead and share the flyer. Let me see if I can do it on the chat box. But really just kind of letting everyone know that we'll be doing this going forward. And actually, Kimberly, I'll email you the flyer when you get a chance. I'll email it to you and you can share it out with the group. But yeah, that is coming up this coming year. So we're excited. We're looking forward to doing this again. The last time we had this powwow, we had about 1,500 people in attendance. So we're expecting more this year. And we're growing every year that we host this powwow, we're growing and growing and growing. So a lot, that's been a lot of planning in advance. Another thing that I kind of want to talk about was here at South Mountain Community College, we're going to be partnering with the Herd Museum, and we're going to be offering a sash belt weaving on June 19th through the 22nd. So the Herd Museum usually supplies and provides all the materials needed for the sash belt weaving. That's going to be open to a lot of high school students as well as college students. So that will be held here at the here on campus. So once I get the flyer, I'll go ahead and share that with you guys, but I'm getting the word out there so that people are aware that we're offering this. So it's an opportunity to learn this style of weave. It's a traditional Pueblo style sash belt weave. So if you're wanting to learn that, feel free to reach out. I'll have more information as we move forward. With that, I just want to wish everyone a good 3-day weekend. Be safe out there, and it's good to be back. Have a good one.
Thank you, Gerard. I appreciate that update. And yes, as soon as you get the flyer, we'll send it out to the community. Have a great day, and thank you for joining us. It's great to have you back.
Yes.
All right. Kathleen, I don't know.
Gerard, I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Esther.
Is he still on, or did he log off?
It looks like he logged off. He did have a meeting that he had to jump on.
Okay, I'll contact him directly.
Thanks.
Okay, sounds good. Kathleen, I don't know if you had any updates or anything you wanted to share out before you need, I know that you have to leave also, but if you do, I'll share, allow you some time.
Thank you, Kim. Yes, I do. And like I indicated, I'm here at the Center for American Indian Economic Development here at NIU, and we work with rural and tribal communities. And there's another component to the work that we do, which is youth, financial literacy and entrepreneurship program. And since I came on board, there was only one financial literacy program, which was the 7th-generation money management. It's a game that that our youth can play. It allows individuals that participate get a better understanding of how to manage your money. So we have that program. We also have three other programs that we're also doing, and we're seeking youth to participate in our summer boot camp, financial literacy boot camp, and then we also have a Fleischer Scholars program, and this program is it's funded by a private donor, and this year we were able to get a Native American cohort program. So we're in the process of advertising and hope to bring more of our youth to campus. And then we're also looking at hosting at different tribal communities. We also are working with United Way, and this is our second year doing this, is we have our VITA tax service that we're doing. And I'll share the flyers, the tax service flyers to you all. We just started last week, so we're doing it every Saturday. We have our NAU business students that are certified to do the tax prep. So share that these information with your youth, your families, your communities, and so we can provide more information and provide opportunities for them. So thank you.
Great work that you're doing up there, Kathleen. And it's wonderful to always have you a part of the meetings, and as well as sharing out the information and the work that you provide in the northern part of the state. And so we're looking forward to getting that information. And once the flyers come to us, we'll definitely share out among our community. So thank you for sharing that information with us. All right, so I did share out our summer youth camp contact. So if you have any questions or want further information, please feel free to reach out to me or my co-coordinator, Enrique Salt. We are currently updating everything, so we'll be sharing out more information in the coming few weeks. All right, so is there anyone that would like to share out any programs? Just feel free to unmute and share out. We do have about 5 minutes left, though, just to keep track on time. So I'll open it up to who wants to share.
I'll actually share our upcoming event that Trudy and I will be doing on behalf of Girl Scouts. It's going to be over at the town of Guadalupe. And we also have one up in Tuba City. The link there will have a registration form, as well as a list of the unicorn ice cream theme parties. And that's just like one of our ways that we're trying to recruit kindergarten and first graders into a troop, and possibly some adult volunteers that want to start a troop. So our first event for our program for Trudy and I to host is going to be next Tuesday in Guadalupe, and we're looking forward to it. So that's probably the only thing I have to share right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Shannon. And we'll get that information out to the larger membership also. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, this is Trudy. I'm also from Girl Scouts. I do have a list of Native American Girl Scout cookie sellers. I don't know if anyone would be interested in buying Girl Scout cookies from our Native American Girl Scouts, but I'll put my email in the chat and I can send you a couple of links if anyone is interested in that. The program is ending in March, so I think there's a couple of weeks left.
We have 2 weeks left, guys. Cookie season will be over.
I think everybody's ears perked up when you said Girl Scout cookies. Thank you, Trudy. We'll definitely, I know I'll be reaching out to you also. I think it's wonderful that we specifically gear towards our Native students also, our Native girls there. So thank you for sharing that information.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'd like to share.
Go ahead, Esther.
All right, hi, it's me again. I just want to share not just mine, but things that are happening around the community. This coming weekend at the Heard Museum is our hoop dancing competition. So I do believe that they do charge a fee, but it's a small fee for people to go in and watch. But that's happening this weekend. And then next weekend, I just want to recognize that on the 25th, it is Exodus Day for Yavapai Apache people. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. And then, let's see. So we have that powwow, the Two-Spirit, coming up April 15th. And then that following weekend, April 21st to the 23rd, is ASU powwow. And so with our powwow season coming up, it's going to get warmer eventually. And I just want to make you all aware that if you would like to have a class for regalia, maybe ribbon skirts, Navajo skirts, jingles, I can help with that. And you can just email me at my email address and we can work something out so I can provide that class and tutorial to your students. All right, thanks, that's all.
Thank you, Esther, for sharing that. And Esther does fabulous work. I don't know how many times I've ordered from her. So she does absolutely a wonderful job in sharing out the talent that she has as far as making regalia. So please contact her if you would like to host a class session to where she can provide that information through her business, Bitterwater Design.
I'm actually working on a ribbon shirt for her and I have it right here. I want to show it real quick. It's just so cute. It's a 2T. I have to add the sleeve, so don't judge.
That's awesome.
It's just so cute. All
Thank
right.
you, Esther. Yes, that's I ordered one for my little nephew who is 1 year old, and so I want to make sure he fits it for a while. So thank you so much for doing that. All right, are there any, I did share out the Vita Tech Services. Kathleen forwarded that to me. I don't think she realized she was still on the direct message to me, but I did want to share that out to the membership so that you have that information also that she provided too. All right, it is 1 o'clock. And so I just want to keep apprised of your time and our time. And so are there any other program shout outs before we adjourn? All right, well, if you have any, please feel free to email those to us and we'll get that out to the membership. And so appreciate the time and for you being here. And so finally, I just want to again point out that our next general meeting will take place April 21st at 11 o'clock. It'll be by Zoom. We'll send that information out as well as an agenda card as we come closer to that time. So I just want to say thank you for joining us today. Great information that's been shared. Look forward to seeing you in April and especially during our PD month next month in March. So we'll send more information out about that. So I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn.
This is Katie. I motion to adjourn at 1:01 p.m.
This is Esther. I'd like to I'll second that motion.
You all know the process too well. All right, motion by Katie, second by Esther at 1:01. All those in favor, I'll do it by consensus unless there's any opposition or abstentions. If there are none, have a great day. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you in next month during our PDs.
Have a good weekend, everybody.